I will describe being a student in Newark Public Schools in one word. That's been horrible.
Newark Public Schools serves over 35,000 students in 66 schools and is the largest and one of the oldest school systems in New Jersey. In the last few years, the district has undergone many changes, most of which did not result in making schools better for children in district schools. The community has constantly called for change and equality, the kinds of reforms that will create a system of schools where all children receive an excellent education, the kind of education guaranteed by the law.
In this documentary, we will introduce you to the real nitty-gritty of Newark Public Schools from students who live it every day. How has One Newark, school closings, and massive budget cuts and lack of respect for the community voice via an opportunity gap? Does the state that controls our district have the best interests of students in neighborhood schools at heart, or is it the mission to dismantle Newark Public Schools?
My vision for quality education is a place where I can go and learn and have everything I need to get into college prepared. I'm not receiving that at all. I don't even have any type of honor classes or any type of college help. Like if I wanna know how do you apply to college and all that, I don't have any type of what do you call this, advisory class or college ready class.
My first 2 years of high school, we were using the wrong math textbook. So when that happened, it fell on the students, although it wasn't our fault, but then our junior year, we were taking 2 math classes a day on top of all the other curriculum that we still had to get past.
Definitely not receiving a quality education, so I would say resources that can fund the programs that expose students to become better people. Teachers, a lot of teachers have been fired left and right. Social services that address the needs of the student emotionally, physically, mentally, and just a board that cares about the students. In Newark right now, the people who control the schools aren't from Newark, so they don't have a sense of connection to what the kids go through and what the community is really about.
Well, One Newark created a universal enrollment system where everybody applied to their top 8 schools, and there was a formula, a calculation that was purchased that was based on originally placing medical students in their residency. So this was a mathematical calculation that the district had created, and so it just dispersed students. You're talking about 37,000 students. I personally know of families whose lives have been disrupted because 3 children are going to 3 different schools, or in one case 4 children are going to 4 different schools. Kids are going across town, kids are walking through bad neighborhoods controlled by different gangs.
Yes, we have 5 children in Newton Street Elementary. Once they closed Newton Street Elementary, they put all 5 of our children in separate schools. When I called,
way outside,
they were all separate. They were even close together.
West Side.
So when I started calling and complaining and writing superintendents, and no one wanted to hear me until we called Channel 12 News. So once we called Channel 12 News and he was on the news with the children, that's when everybody wanted to be fast and okay, it's okay, we'll put all your kids in one school, but why should we do that as parents? Why should anybody, not just us, why should anybody do that as a parent, have to go through the extraness just to get all the siblings in one school? And not for nothing, you closed the Newton Street school that's still open with less children in that school than it originally was. So, you know, that's a problem.
Yeah. And the justification for separating our kids that way, with the exception of our son Jahaz, who we have with us here today, with special needs, all of them are honor students. So what they wanted to do was to take each one of those honor students and put them in a certain school to help those statistics come up. Right.
I did do the one Newark and this coming up here, I did the one Newark to get them out. I still had an issue. 3 of my kids in 3 different schools. And that's this year coming. That's why I was there this morning fighting. And as I say messy, I go there this morning to the one Newark. And she's like, oh, I can't. We're at the 11th hour, and I don't know what I'm going to do. Everything is full. You're not going to put all 3 of my babies in 3 separate schools. That's not what you're going to do.
Right.
And not only that, you're not going to put them in a low-performing school.
Right.
As they're not going into a low-performing school.
Right.
Well, I can't help you. Well, can you do me a favor, and can you go on your computer and you can go into the Board of Education and tell me what school is performing so high so we can settle this right now? Oh, I don't have that information.
During the 2014 and 2015 school year, students experienced the implementation of the One Newark Plan and the administration of the controversial PARCC test.
Before the hype with standardized testing, I remember teaching. I was a teacher at Barringer High School, and there still was a standardized test, the HESPA HSPA, that 11th graders, as it pertained to me as a high school teacher, that 11th graders had to take, and it really wasn't a difficult test. However, a lot of the times our students' skills were so low before they even came into high school that it was just, we still had to put a lot of focus and emphasis on the actual structure of the test so that they could just pass it. So it was like a persuasive essay, a picture prompt, write a story based on the picture that you see, read some passages, do some multiple choice questions. Pretty basic sort of test. So then there was a stress about a new test, a new, more rigorous is a term that's always used, more rigorous test is going to be more difficult, we got to get the students up to speed. And that's when it wasn't as fun anymore, and it became extremely stressful because we were constantly testing, assessing the students, and just that love for learning, it just wasn't there as much.
You have to opt out twice, not even once, and you couldn't even take the paper home and let your mom sign it or whoever can sign it for you. You had to bring that person to the school. And as I had understood, other schools didn't have that problem. You could just take the paper, talk to your parents, and then they will sign it off.
I think that high-stakes standardized testing is the wrong direction. To say that one test or one way of measuring someone is the way that we can kind of place this person in society and can inhibit a person from going to certain places. It's crazy to think about. Standardized tests don't measure a person's intelligence, how well they work with others, their creativity. It's really just a number, and of course we need testing, but to say that we need more testing in the classrooms, I think we need more learning and less testing. Teachers barely get to do their jobs because they're just doing test prep, and it's frustrating. I've seen a lot of kids just kind of crumble, and it's sad to see, and teachers too. But I opted out. I didn't take the part because I don't believe in high-stakes standardized testing. I think it has to go, and I think it can go if people and parents were educated enough about it and they said no because they have a choice.
Standardized testing has not improved educational outcomes in Newark, and I know basically really nowhere in this country has it done that. We do see more quote-unquote progress and academic achievement quote-unquote in charter schools, but then that's it's apples and oranges. You can't compare when you have a situation, you have a certain set of schools where parents opt into that situation and when they're saying, yes, I want to be a part of this. And not just that, but then the fact that at any point in time, if you fail to meet your obligation based on what that school expects you to do, you and your child can be removed from that school.